There is breaking news tonight on a massive Toyota recall involving defective airbags. It covers 2.9 million vehicles in the U.S.
Toyota screwed car buyers, and now they're paying the price.
You step on the brakes, and they don't respond for a moment.
We've got breaking news out of Japan tonight. We're learning about potentially more problems for Toyota.
Toyota lost over $15 billion in market value last week after being caught falsifying tests.
Toyotas have a well-earned reputation for reliability, often lasting hundreds of thousands of miles with minimal issues.
This is a 2007 Tundra. It's one of the first trucks that came out of this plant with a 4.7 liter V8 engine in it. And he puts about 125,000 miles on a year. So in the time he's owned this truck, he put 1 million miles.
Even in challenging environments like Africa, where fuel quality can be low, maintenance is tough, and the conditions are extreme, Toyotas consistently perform. And in my last deployment to Africa, I drove a Toyota. I want to be upfront. I am not paid by any manufacturer. My aim is to share honest results and data with the occasional opinion. To be even more transparent, I personally don't see myself owning a Toyota because their vehicles don't align with my preferences, but I firmly believe in giving credit where it's due. One thing I can say with confidence, what used to be the dividing line with Toyota from other manufacturers was their commitment to their products. Take their approach to using parts, for example. While many companies might rely on their parts bin method to cut costs, Toyota does it because they trust those parts to work reliably. For them, saving money is just a bonus. At one point, the Toyota Corolla was the best-selling car in the world, and arguably still is. Every 15 seconds, someone decides to purchase a Toyota Corolla, which has the potential to still be true as the market is shifting away from sedans and moving towards crossovers and SUVs, except in the case of Toyota, where they command the sedan market, and many dealerships struggle to keep them in stock. However, something sinister is happening within Toyota right now. Sales are stagnant, and in some cases, like September 2024, sales are down over 20% compared to the previous year, and Toyota's stock price has seen a massive decline, where the 52-week high stock price was $255 in March, and as of October this year, the stock is ranging in the $170 to $180 range. What is causing this seemingly undefeatable giant to fall? Before we uncover the current disaster that is ruining Toyota, we must understand their current mistakes and potential downfall wasn't a light switch moment, but the dimming of a once bright light that has almost been completely blown out. And I personally do not know if there is time to fix what is happening. Toyota's reputation of being practically indestructible is almost gone. But how did Toyota gain this reputation? We often hear the term Kaizen, almost ad nauseum, which is the method Toyota implements, which in a nutshell is the continuous improvement of products. Instead of reinventing the wheel over and over, Toyota makes gradual changes, which almost always makes the product better. But what is often left out is the how they are able to do this. It's a simple concept known as lean production, just-in-time, Toyota production system, or the Toyota way. All these terms mean the same thing, and for the purpose of this video, we will refer to it as lean production. There are 7 elements to lean production, which Toyota had expertly crafted. They include overproduction, product waste, time waste, transportation waste, overprocessing, inventory waste, excessive movement, defective products, and underutilizing workers. This concept built Toyota, and as of 2024, they are utterly failing with the lean production model that they themselves built. And if you think I'm unfairly pointing out Toyota's flaws, stay tuned, as you will be surprised. But before we give a more historical look on Toyota's failures, let's look at what is currently in front of us. Toyota has capitulated with the trend of reducing cylinders and turbocharging their engine lineups. Such is the case with the Tacoma, bringing it from a reliable 3.5 V6 and 2.7 4-cylinder to a 2.4 turbocharged 4-cylinder. Or with the worst failure of all, the Tundra, where it used to house the highly reliable 4.6 and 5.7 V8, and now its new heart is a turbocharged 3.4 V6, or what I like to call the $2 billion mistake. Toyota, as of May 2024, is recalling 98,600 Toyota Tundras from 2021 to 2023, and 3,500 Lexus LX SUVs from 2021 to 2022 due to, quote, machining debris left inside the engine during production, which can cause serious mechanical problems. These include engine knocking, rough performance, difficulty starting, and in the most severe cases, sudden engine failure while driving. This increases the risk of accidents, making the defect a critical safety concern. Since Toyota is doing the right thing and replacing almost every single motor, it is costing them almost $2 billion. Unfortunately, reports are coming in that 2024 models are now being afflicted with the same problems. Toyota had a proven engine in the Tundra, the 4.6 and 5.7, which saw service in the Tundra from 2007 to 2021, amongst other models as well, like the Land Cruiser and Sequoia. This engine gained a reputation of easily reaching and surpassing 300,000 miles, and in some cases, over 1 million miles. To further complicate matters, when manufacturers began the process of turbocharging everything, especially the money leaving your wallet, there are second and third order effects that the general public is unaware of.
I think that's some oil. What do you think, amigo?
This turbo broke instantly, right after it was installed. The shaft just broke, causing unrepairable damage to the turbo, which caused the engine to perform abnormally. The main reason for such a catastrophic failure was lack of proper lubrication. The high rotation speeds and the friction within the moving parts caused the temperature to raise extremely. The shaft got super hot and ultimately just broke by seizing.
Now the other issue is that not only is a turbocharged engine more complicated with additional parts that need to be replaced, but it also puts a lot of additional heat and pressure on the engine itself, which can shorten the lifespan of the engine. Turbochargers work at extremely high temperature, and because they're basically pressurizing air and forcing more air into the engine, this can put a lot more strain on the engine itself. Compare that to a naturally aspirated engine, which not only has far fewer parts, but also doesn't have all of the added heat and pressure of a turbo, all of which helps to increase its lifespan.
Another thing to consider is turbocharged engines require more frequent oil changes, and it increases the replacement cycle of parts within the engine. This is due to the excessive heat that is applied to the engine bay, and it's also due to the increased internal pressure caused by the turbocharger on the engine. Now, if we look at the heat that's caused by the turbocharger, the surrounding engine components such as your hoses, wiring, plastics, which seems to be increasing more and more as time progresses, that degrades them prematurely. So now we're causing additional wear components within the engine bay itself. Now, when these issues do arise, the repairs are particularly costly, and turbochargers use specialized parts, and whenever you have to repair or replace, it's very expensive to do. But here is the interesting part. Turbocharged vehicles are marketed as a more fuel-efficient option, and this is slightly misleading. Real-world fuel economy numbers are much different than what's posted by the EPA testing standards. These tests don't account for the conditions where the turbocharger is fully engaged, and they're also done in the most ideal conditions possible. And this is kind of a deceptive practice, because now you're not actually getting the fuel economy numbers that were advertised, and you're not even really close in some cases. Whereas the Tundra, for example, the fuel economy difference between the 5.7 or 4.6 and the new turbocharged V6, they're actually not that much different.
Again, sitting more in that like 17 mile per gallon range maybe. You'll see currently I'm at 15 miles per gallon. That's again just for pretty much in-town driving.
18.4 mpg and 147 miles left. The truck currently says 18.2 mpg was my average for this particular trip. The result I have is 18.6 mpgs. My first fuel efficiency was on par with a lot of the current V8s and also some EcoBoost engines from Ford, some turbocharged ones. So Toyota did not leapfrog the competition, but it stays right there with good power.
Claims from websites like topspeed.com state that, quote, turbochargers increase power and efficiency by forcing more air into the cylinders, resulting in more powerful combustion and improved fuel economy, making them environmentally friendly. But if this was the aim of Toyota, which it's not in the case of the Tundra, replacing over 100,000 engines is quite the opposite of being environmentally friendly. And we all know that turbocharged engines do not last as long as a naturally aspirated engine. So this idea is an oxymoron. If Toyota had any chance of competing with the F-150 or Silverado, this may have ruined those chances. In essence, Toyota is taking a step back, not just mechanically, but in what seems to be in all areas of engineering.
The plastics feel cheaper. If I want to pull my door hard, maybe it's windy out, or I need to kind of slam my door hard, you can feel the door cards separate from the metal. You can feel it, and it's just cheaply made. And that's not something I normally would say about a Toyota product, especially one that's $60,000. You know, smaller displacement, turbo, hybrid. I'm not interested in that stuff. I've seen the future and I don't like it. I like the old stuff better. It worked. And if this is the way that vehicle manufacturing is going, and it is, I'm not really on board with it. I'll go back to my old dinosaur trucks because they worked and they lasted and I never worried about them.
In 2010, Akio Toyoda, the grandson of the company's founder, told Automotive News in 2010 that, quote, in 2003, we surpassed the 6 million sales mark, and after that, the rate of increase kept growing. We look at this as the turning point. When we hit the 6 million mark, we maybe couldn't apply the Toyota way as thoroughly as we should have. Take, for instance, the infamous Tacoma frame rust issues, which affected over 1 million vehicles. Another alarming example is in 2009, when the floor mat recall occurred, which affected over 4 million Toyota vehicles. Toyotas were recalled because, quote, complaints have shown that floor mats can creep forward and get stuck under the accelerator, which can lead to unintended and potentially dangerous acceleration. This occurred because floor mats were an optional feature, and by purchasing this feature, you may have unintentionally clocked out, as this did occur for many who were affected by the floor mat problem.
The trouble is, in Toyota vehicles like this 2009 Tacoma pickup truck, the gas pedal can get tangled up in the floor mat, causing the vehicle to speed up. Even if the driver pumps the brakes, it's not enough to stop. 5 deaths have been blamed on this unintended acceleration, and the recall was prompted by a crash outside San Diego last summer that killed 4 family members. In the meantime, Toyota will recall the cars and shorten the accelerator 3/4 of an inch, perhaps as early as January, so the mat can slide under it without trapping it.
These incidents weren't merely a series of unfortunate events. They signaled a deeper issue within Toyota's commitment to quality. Many experts in the industry have also pointed out that the present-day Toyota has been accepting lower quality parts that would have never passed the quality control processes of the past. Moreover, Toyota has been caught cheating on their safety tests in 2023 and again in 2024. Toyota admitted to using timers rather than crash sensors to set off airbags, knowingly using the wrong crash angles for pedestrian safety tests, submitting data from the wrong side of the car in some pedestrian crash tests. To complicate the falsification on safety matters further, an independent third-party panel also revealed that the certification irregularities extended all the way back to 1989. In some instances, engineers had cut a door panel before testing so that it wouldn't break in a way that stabbed a test dummy's leg. What is perplexing, by all accounts, it doesn't appear that Toyota falsified these tests because they wouldn't pass government standards for crash safety. Quite the contrary. Toyota falsified these tests because they weren't passing Toyota's standards, and Toyota wanted to provide a higher safety rating. One thing is certain, Toyota is standing firm in its resistance to the EV movement. Whether this choice will ultimately pay off is hopefully up to the market to decide. Despite the vocal push for electric vehicles, the widespread demand isn't quite where many would like it to be. Unlike other brands pouring all their profits into electric vehicle lineups, Toyota has chosen a different path. Instead, they're doubling down on their proven hybrid technology, gaining recognition as one of the leading producers of hybrid vehicles. This commitment to refining their hybrid systems shows that Toyota is staying true to the principle of Kaizen, and I respect them for that. Additionally, what's truly keeping Toyota ahead is their response to setbacks, like the widespread Turbo V6 issues. Toyota didn't have to issue a mass recall or offer to replace all potentially affected engines, yet they prioritized their customers and took responsibility. In doing so, they demonstrated a level of integrity that's becoming rare in the automotive industry. I only wish other manufacturers would follow Toyota's example when it comes to addressing their own failures. I truly hope that Toyota, this legendary brand that I have immense respect for, reclaims the throne of reliability, durability, and consumer trust, because there's not many other brands out there that have had that title, and I truly believe Toyota is losing that title. I don't want them to follow the path of so many other brands out there right now. Thank you for watching this video.
Well, they discovered that Toyota was human. They discovered that Toyota can make mistakes. I had known that all along. I have been saying that for the past 10 or 12 years. They make mistakes. You don't believe me? Look at what Toyota consumers say in Japan. But in the United States, we somehow had given Toyota the mantle of infallibility, that somehow they didn't make any errors, which was nonsense. Toyota's problem isn't that it just started losing a grasp of its quality. Toyota's problem is that it started losing grasp of its myth of infallibility. It had always made mistakes. The media had always ignored them by and large. And so as a result did our government. Toyota is as good as Toyota has always been. It also makes as many mistakes as Toyota has always made.